I have no clue what I want to watch. Monogatari, too much of a commitment, Monster Musume, not again. Edgy, garbage, garbage, too long. Okay, what is this show? Why does it keep showing up on my recommended? Like, it looks like nothing. I've literally never heard of this. Fuck it, whatever. Got nothing better to do. Maybe it'll make a good trash talk or something. I just wanted cute anime girl. I couldn't find a better show, so I reluctantly watched I Couldn't Become a Hero, so I reluctantly got a job. I thought it was going to be a work slice of life comedy with some ecchi thrown in, you know, the normal stuff. But what if I told you that secretly, underneath the thin veneer of cute anime girls, was actually an anti-capitalist story about the evil of big business, the destructive perpetuation of the military-industrial complex, and the demonization and capitalization of marginalized peoples? No, something feels off here. This doesn't feel right for this kind of video. I've got it. There we go. This feels better. Hello, and welcome back to Explaining Very Concerning Things. It has been a long while since I've done one of these. The last time was, February. Jesus. Back then, I predicted a massive economic collapse that would lead to mass civil unrest, and then the 1% abandoning us to go to their doomsday bunkers and private islands. I said that it would be caused by automation, and actively decided to omit pandemic from the list that the articles I cited gave me. So, don't I look like an ass? But we're not here to discuss my past mistakes of clairvoyance. We're here to discuss anime girls trying to radicalize an entire group of weebs into hating capitalism and the suffering that it causes. Also, spoilers for the whole story, but let's be honest, this is probably the first time you've even heard of it, and also are hopefully more fascinated by whatever the fuck I'm about to say, instead of going to watch like 12 episodes of a 6 out of 10 anime and then coming back. It's fine. It's good. It's a fine show, but, like, it's not really worth it. Our story starts with Raul, a boy so close to graduating and becoming a hero, but whose dreams are crushed when someone kills the Demon King, leading to peaceful times and the suspension of the hero program. Left with a highly specialized skill set that has little to no marketability in a time of unprecedented job loss and economic hardship, Raul has no choice but to reluctantly get an unskilled labor position as a store clerk. Kind of like how some people graduated college with a highly specialized skill set during a pandemic that has led to unprecedented job loss and economic hardship, and thus are left with no choice but to get a part-time unskilled labor position. I am some people. A lot of people are some people here. I am just one of those some people. By the way, I have a Patreon. You can go to that, and if you like this, you can give me your money. But I understand if you can't, like everything I just said, you know. Then along comes a mysterious girl attempting to get a job, who we then discover is the daughter of the now deceased Demon King. Because we all should know all too well by now that homelessness and joblessness can affect anyone at any time. It just so happens to disproportionately affect minorities and marginalized groups that has led to a massive wealth disparity, but we'll get there. I'm not even finished explaining the story setup. Our brave hero main character then decides to say, you can't hire her because she's one of them, and is met with a solid, shut the fuck up, she works here now and you're in charge of her training. Nice. We then get a few episodes of some funny and cute training and friendship that only hint at the darker reality at play. Eventually, however, we are introduced to our first set of villains, a chain department store that has over 50% of the market share and continues to buy out various manufacturers to ensure exclusive sales rights in an effort to further their monopoly on the industry and push smaller stores, like that of our protagonists, out of business. What follows is repeated demonstrations of how these megacorporations will often try to lure customers in with seemingly better prices, but then try and overwhelm you and convince you to buy the pricier option before screwing you over with lots of hidden fees and cancellation charges if you decide to change your mind. The show pushes that smaller businesses often provide more honest and personal experiences that rely more on human interaction to try and push sales. And while this may lead to a total less sales, it does lead to happier customers who are more willing to trust you again in the future and thus provides more loyalty. This ideal is furthered by Fino in the episode where she goes and shops with her first paycheck. She and Raul visit almost exclusively small businesses, shops, and stalls. In this episode, she remarks in pure joy that people come to Leon to buy things they want. Fino then gets paid for that. Then she can go buy the things that she wants that others worked hard to create, and that everyone is thus connected in an exchange of happiness and hard work. Money is simply a universal mediary through which people give each other joy. That is the ideal use of capital under Yusibu's ideology. The perpetual cycle of greed and domination that is Amada's business structure is the villain here, as it ignores that essential human aspect in exchange for a sense of progress. And now it's here that I would like to introduce you to the idea of the corporate cyborg. Wrong kind of cyborg, unfortunately. In Sean Cubitt's book Finite Media, he argues for the existence of something he calls the corporate cyborg. Now, as opposed to what we typically think of when we say cyborg, being a human with technological implants, the corporate cyborg flips this to a computer or a system with biochips installed. The biochips being the employees working within the corporate system. The role of the cyborg is to gain capital by any means necessary. That is the end product and the end goal. The only reason that the human biochips are in it are to justify, apologize for, and carry out the whim of the corporate cyborg. Employees, CEOs, board members, they can all be thrown out and replaced, and the cyborg still runs on what equates to new biological graphics cards. We're going to be using this analogy a few more times, so I want you to keep it in mind. Amada is the corporate cyborg. Its cold, harsh, and cruel nature is hidden under false smiles and simple crowd-pleasing stunts. In episode 7, we see this to its fullest when the gang discovers there's been a double booking when they go to install an AC unit. They understand that they simply can't compete on the price and are willing to back out without problem. However, when it's discovered that the house's magical wiring may be messed up, the Amada biochip reveals that the fee to fix it would be exorbitant, and that the family would still have to pay for the visitation and cancellation even if they decided to not get the AC unit. Our gang discovers the real issue and decides to fix it free of charge, just out of the kindness of their own hearts, and ultimately get the sale because the customers realize the importance of the human touch that the Leon team provides. Okay, now we gotta jump back for a second. Remember when I alluded to the idea of Fino, a demon, being part of a marginalized group? Yeah, we have to come back to that. Now, obviously, any half-decent person would understand that people of other races are not literal monsters, but the use of demons in this show is actually used to talk about how our society often vilifies and dehumanizes minority peoples in an effort to generate capital off of them in various inhumane ways, with the justification being they're not people to begin with. You know, that thing we've done a few times throughout humanity. Thus, similar to how Fino is initially homeless and also works at the store because she's now part of a marginalized race and has no better prospects because nowhere else would hire an unskilled, homeless, unqualified demon girl. We're treated to a horrendous scene revealing that a television manufacturer has been using simple-minded monsters to produce their products, with the only downside given being that they die pretty quickly from being overworked. Then, you watch one of these monsters keel over, an employee picks it up, puts it in a shopping cart, and wheels it away, while all the others keep working. There's no way this would happen in real life in an Amazon warehouse in 2019, where the workers were then told to immediately get back to work after finding him, and that the same warehouse had seen 6 deaths in as many months and 28 911 calls and only 3 in the same year. What year was this light novel published? 2012? 7 years prior? Cool. Hopefully it should come as no surprise to hear that marginalized groups are typically the ones working these unskilled labor positions in manufacturing, transportation, and the service industry. Thus, when we see these simple-minded monsters who are really good at doing one task over and over, we can safely assume who the floor manager is actually talking about. And maybe you think, no, they're literal monsters, you're just reading way too much into this. Well, if I was, then our main cast wouldn't be appalled by what they're seeing. But they are, because they work with a demon. They know that demons can be just as intelligent as humans, and that they are fully capable, and some desire to, live in harmony with humans. It's just that the 2 demons that the humans are accepting of so far are the 2 that just happen to look like them. The 2 that are conforming to human culture and are so overjoyed at the amazing things that humanity is giving them. The bare minimum of what humanity has to offer. AKA, these 2 are the model minority. Why can't all the demons be like them? We'd accept the demons if they just acted like these 2 do. Stopped looking so weird and, look normal like these 2 do. They should just go get a manufacturing job and work really hard instead of burning down and looting our villages. Then we'd like them. But do you know what else we learned that's unsurprising? That the demon world is full of other nice demons like Pheno and Lamb, and that the demon world just doesn't have the same magical technologies that the human world does. In other words, it's a developing nation full of a marginalized people who, surprise, surprise, are stuck under the rule of a puppet dictator held in place by the humans to perpetuate our second main villain, the military-industrial complex. I wish I was joking. Remember how I mentioned at the beginning that the death of the Demon King caused the suspension of the hero program? That is what caused the massive surge in job loss, as instantly all of the heroes were out of jobs, and then, soon after, lots of companies, smithies, armories, etc. were also out of business because they had no one to sell to anymore. Thus, the humans and a powerful demon decide to team up and try to reinstate Pheno as the next demon lord so that they can bring back all of the jobs to those who lost them by reopening the hero program. But why are they working together? Well, apparently they always had been. The heroes straight up admit to the fact that the hero industry had been keeping the Demon King alive to keep an endless war and thus the military-industrial complex running. The literal death and suffering of humans and demons was a calculated risk in perpetuating an industry built on blood. Sound familiar? Here's where we're going to have to circle back to the idea of the corporate cyborg. A key aspect of the cyborg is its seemingly suicidal tendency. In its need to amass such capital, it will often make decisions that will forego its own sustainability. That is what's going on here. The heroes are trying to keep a system running that is built on their own deaths. Because to not kill the Demon King, they have to be defeated at the end. It's kind of like how America keeps saying, we got him, about a bunch of people in the Middle East, as if it's definitive, but then we just keep finding new people to get, because the real reason we're over there has little to nothing to do with the extremists and terrorists, and we're actually just there for the oil. Oh, and also those puppet governments that are actually dictatorships that we installed and then pretend like we had nothing to do with when the people try and overthrow it, and then we just install a new one. In summary, I couldn't become a hero, so I reluctantly got a job is actually about the immorality of the modern capitalist system and growth of big businesses and monopolies, especially in their use and abuse of marginalized peoples in production and service positions, as well as the abject evil of the military-industrial complex and its role in intentionally perpetuating bloodshed, specifically that of marginalized peoples in a developing nation, to keep pushing economic growth over human lives through a false sense of morality and patriotism. Or maybe it's just about boobs. I don't know anymore. Thanks for watching. I'm gonna go watch something cute.